Why you feel tired even when you did nothing. At 9 o'clock in the morning, Adam opened his eyes and already felt exhausted. He hadn't worked late. He hadn't exercised. He hadn't even left the house the day before. Still, his body felt heavy and his mind felt like it had been awake for days. He reached for his phone and told himself, "I'll rest for a few minutes, then I'll get up." A few minutes became 30. 30 minutes became an hour. He watched one video, then another. He checked his messages but didn't answer them. He opened his notes to see what he needed to do. Study, clean the room, reply to an email, finish a small project. Nothing on the list was impossible, but looking at all of it made him feel even more tired. So he closed the notes and returned to scrolling. "I'll start after this video," he thought. But every time the video ended, another one began. By noon, Adam still hadn't left his bed. His body had barely moved, but inside his head, something had been running constantly. "I should get up. I'm wasting the day. I need to start studying. I'll do it in 10 minutes. Why can't I just begin?" The thoughts repeated over and over. His body was resting, his brain wasn't. At 1 o'clock, he finally stood up and walked toward his desk. He opened his laptop. Then he remembered the message he hadn't answered. He opened his phone. Before replying, he noticed another notification, then another. A few minutes later, he was watching videos again. The laptop stayed open in front of him. The message stayed unanswered. The work stayed unfinished. And somewhere in the background, his mind kept carrying all of it. Imagine opening 20 tabs on a computer. Even when you aren't looking at them, they're still running. They still use memory. They still slow everything down. Your brain can work the same way. Every unfinished task becomes another open tab. The email you need to answer, the room you need to clean, the assignment you haven't started, the decision you keep postponing. You might not be doing any of them, but your mind keeps checking them. Should I do it now? Where do I start? What if it takes too long? What if I fail? What if I start and can't finish? You make the same decision repeatedly without ever completing it, and that consumes energy. At 3 o'clock, Adam lay back down. He couldn't understand why he was tired. He had done almost nothing. But doing nothing wasn't the real problem. The real problem was that he had spent hours resisting everything. Think of someone holding a heavy bag while standing still. They aren't walking, they aren't running, they aren't going anywhere. But after holding it for hours, their arms will still hurt. Mental pressure works the same way. You don't need to move for something to drain you. Sometimes the heaviest thing you carry is the task you keep avoiding, and the longer you avoid it, the heavier it becomes. At first, Adam only needed to answer one message. It would have taken less than 2 minutes. But after ignoring it all day, the task started changing inside his mind. "I need to answer that message" became, "Why haven't I answered yet?" Then, "They probably think I'm ignoring them." Then, "I always do this." The task didn't become harder, his thoughts made it heavier. By the evening, Adam had carried that 2-minute task for almost the entire day, and his phone wasn't helping him rest. Scrolling felt like rest because his body wasn't moving, but his brain was still receiving something new every few seconds. A new face, a new sound, a new joke, a new argument, a new problem, a new life to compare his own life to. Every video demanded a small amount of attention. Should he keep watching? Should he skip? Should he read the comments? Should he open the next video? Hundreds of tiny decisions, one after another. His thumb barely moved, but his attention kept jumping from one thing to another. At 7 o'clock, Adam finally put his phone down. He expected to feel rested. Instead, he felt empty. Then he looked at the time. The entire day was almost gone. That was when the guilt arrived. I wasted another day. Tomorrow has to be different. I have no discipline. Why am I like this? Now he wasn't only carrying the unfinished tasks. He was also carrying shame for not completing them. His brain was fighting two battles. the work he hadn't done, and the anger he felt toward himself for not doing it. That is why doing nothing can sometimes feel more exhausting than doing something. When you take action, even a small action, your brain receives a clear message. We are handling this. But when you continue waiting, the problem remains open. The decision remains unfinished. Your brain stays alert because it doesn't know whether the task will be handled or ignored. Adam looked at his long list again. For a moment, he felt the same pressure. Study, clean, reply, finish the project, fix everything. Then he stopped. Instead of trying to repair the entire day, he chose one thing. He opened the unanswered message and typed a short reply. Then he pressed send. The task took less than 2 minutes. But something changed. The pressure became slightly smaller. One open tab had closed. So he chose another small task. He placed one shirt inside the closet, then another. He didn't clean the whole room. He didn't finish the entire project. He didn't transform his life in one evening. He simply completed something. And completion created a small amount of relief. This is often the first step out of mental exhaustion. Don't try to fix everything. Close one open tab. Reply to one message. Read one page. Wash one plate. Work for 5 minutes. Your goal is not to suddenly become extremely productive. Your goal is to show your brain that something has been handled. Then remove unnecessary decisions. Instead of waking up and asking, "What should I do today?" Choose one small task the night before. Decide when you will begin. Decide where you will do it. A tired brain struggles with vague instructions. Study today feels heavy. Read 2 pages at 10 o'clock at my desk feels clearer. The fewer decisions your brain needs to make, the easier it becomes to move. And finally, learn the difference between rest and escape. Escape helps you forget the pressure temporarily. Real rest reduces the pressure. 3 hours of scrolling may distract you, but it can leave your mind more crowded than before. A short walk, a shower, quiet music, proper sleep, or simply sitting without constant stimulation can give your nervous system a chance to slow down. That night, Adam hadn't completed everything. His room was still messy. His work was still unfinished. His life hadn't suddenly changed. But he understood something important. He wasn't tired because he had done too much. He was tired because his mind had spent the entire day carrying unfinished tasks, repeated decisions, constant stimulation, and guilt. So the next time you feel exhausted after doing nothing, don't immediately call yourself lazy. Ask yourself, what has my mind been carrying all day? Then choose one small thing and put it down. Because sometimes, energy doesn't come before action. Sometimes action is what brings your energy back.